Real estate experiment. What is happening, y'all? Currently in the process of negotiation process. We're under contract, and I actually learned something new today in regards to the appraisal contingency and the financing contingency. So there's two check boxes that comes along with a conventional rehab, with a conventional loan, or whatever the case might be. And in these two spaces, this is what realtors fill out as well with their on behalf of their clients, or if you're putting in an offer. There's two checkbox. One is the appraisal contingency period, which is usually 21 days and 3 weeks out, depending on when your lender can close. And another is the appraisal contingency. Well, I always thought they were kind of one and the same. In order for the financing to go through, it must appraise. The lenders, as we recall, send their appraisers on site to verify that the property is worth what it's worth, in order for them to lend you the home, so that they have the home as collateral in case that you default. So with that being said, I learned something new today, that there was a cash offer and we decided to go with a conventional loan instead. So remove the financing contingency. But I learned that if you remove the financing contingency, essentially what you're saying is that, well, step one, if there's an appraisal contingency, what we're saying is that if the home doesn't appraise, we have three options. Either we walk away, either we renegotiate, or pretty much, or pay over, pay the difference that your lender believes the home is worth. So you have those three options. If for whatever reason that the appraisal goes through, there is a financing contingency, which means that as a borrower, should anything pop up where the financing can't go through because you, for whatever reason, buy a car or buy furniture and skew around with your credit score while you're under contract, without that financing contingency, you basically have to buy the home. There's nothing that protects you, or lose your earnest money. There's nothing that protects you as a buyer if you remove the financing contingency from a financing, considering that the financing doesn't go through. You're either liable to pay for it on your own, or give up your earnest money. So really that's what it is. When we have all these contingencies, it's also in protection to the earnest money that's been put down, and also meaning that you're going to follow through and close the deal. So that's a really important thing to note. So again, just to recap, there's a difference between the appraisal and the financing contingency. The appraisal is the process that the bank goes through in order to verify that the loan that they're lending you is worth what it's worth, and then as well as the financing contingency, it means that there's a protection should the financing not go through with the bank, because they, for whatever reason, they catch something, or something changes between the time that you took the loan, that you were pre-approved or not, then you no longer have to buy the home, and your earnest money would be returned. So it's very important to know the difference between the two, especially if you're going in on an offer and you're trying to make it look like you're very serious on the other end, but at the same time, on the other side of the transaction, but at the same time, you also want to protect yourself as a buyer going into a property where you might not know what may occur from a financing perspective or from an appraisal perspective until you get the appraisal. So keep that in mind. We're always learning on the job, always learning through my clients, always learning through with the lens as an investor as well, for the long-term goal, big picture, and always gotta make sure you learn something along the way. So it's been a good few days where I've been able to speak to a loan officer. This was actually another broker that's been doing business for quite a few years now that gave me that insight. So on that note, let's build, y'all.
Almost forgot what I was doing. Almost forgot where I was going. I've been driving, I've been smoking. Almost forgot what I was doing. Almost forgot where